With 3 belts in hand and a line of challengers waiting, questions remain: unify, move up, or defend? Coyazo's answer has the same tone he's always used: blunt and hungry. Small in scale, massive in pressure. Oscar Coyazo rewrote the rules for the 105-pound division. This is not the end, it is the opening thunderclap of a career that promises more storms. Subscribe, follow the journey, and witness what happens when a hurricane refuses to be ignored. By the 6th, a right hook dropped Nam Kong. By the 7th, a liver left him doubled. A body flurry and an uppercut finished the night. 3 belts united, history made. Coyazo hadn't just arrived, he had crowned himself the smallest man storm with the heaviest reach. What makes a hurricane? Not size. Not theatrics. Pressure, timing, and an economy of motion. Coyazo's toolkit is simple and brutal: relentless body punching, a looping right hook that finds a home, and the ability to bring the fight into a space where his targets break. In key fights, Coyazo's bodywork accounted for nearly half of his total landed shots, not flashy, but devastating. Behind the belts is a human ledger of sacrifices: long runs before dawn, missing birthdays, the quiet grind of rehab after camps. For Oscar, each step has been for more than personal glory. He carries a country's hopes, a corner's faith, and the dream of making the 105-pound division a stage the world remembers. Not every defense is a highlight reel. Sometimes a champion must absorb, adapt, and return. Gerardo Zapata, a gritty southpaw with a heavy clinch game, cracked Coyazo clean in the early rounds. For a moment, the hurricane looked like it might stall. But where others drown, Coyazo steadied. He adjusted, pinned his opponent, and unloaded hooks and crosses from the ropes. When the storm subsided, wide scores confirmed the truth: Coyazo could both break opponents and weather their best shots. You see champions when they don't lose their head. He kept his #, he made his corner trust him. 3 defenses later, the door opened to the ultimate prize: unification. Across the ring stood an icon of durability, CP Freshmart, the time machine who had held the WBA crown for years. His nickname promised destruction; that night, it promised nothing. 7th fight. World champion. Puerto Rico had a new record, the fastest from the island to a world crown, surpassing what had been thought impossible. Titles are not won once, they are defended, tested, and redefined. Coyazo returned home for his first defense, the first men's world title fight on Puerto Rican soil in 6 years. The night carried history, expectation, and pressure. Garen Deegan, a southpaw challenger hungry for his chance, came ready. Lefts and counters tried to slow the champion. But Coyazo's pressure multiplied: jab, right hook to the body, uppercut upstairs. By the 6th, Deegan's defense cracked and his corner kept him on the stool. A hometown defense, and the champion had shown how pressure becomes a defensive weapon. Coyazo's right hook kept finding its home. Reyes came fearless, probing with lefts to the body. The 4th round showed the first real warning: a right hook shook Reyes so badly the referee hesitated. By the 5th, the story ended: classic Coyazo, a big right hook, another overhand left, and Reyes collapsed. KO. Statement made. In only his 7th fight, Oscar Coyazo stood across from Melvin Jerusalem, the reigning WBO champion and a feared Filipino puncher. Jerusalem had taken the throne in 2 rounds months earlier, the kind of man who turns challengers into highlights. The opening rounds were a rough ledger. Jerusalem's length and sharp counters proved dangerous. But Coyazo made a tactical decision by round 4, abandon a touch approach and drive inside. Attack the body. Steal the breath. The result was a changing fight. By the 6th, Jerusalem's arms began to drop. By the 8th, he never left his stool. From round 1, Coyazo's youth and speed showed. A southpaw tearing the body with combinations, refusing to let the veteran settle. But this wasn't a one-way street. Saluter answered back, using craft and grit to change the tempo. The 7th round exploded into chaos, a brutal body shot dropped the veteran, only for Saluter to respond with an uppercut that sent Coyazo down. 2 knockdowns in a minute, drama at its best. But the Puerto Rican engine kept revving. Coyazo bulldozed forward, kept breaking the body, and by night's end he had earned a unanimous decision and a ticket closer to a world title. A true champion answers when opportunity knocks, even if it knocks loud and last minute. When Wilfredo Mendez pulled out with an injury, Mexico's Yidel Reyes stepped in on short notice. A test of readiness, and of heart. By spring 2021, he tested himself at light flyweight, proving he could go the distance. Then, in December 2021, a decision changed everything. Coyazo dropped to minimum weight and walked straight into a title shot, a vacant WBO Latino belt, in only his fourth professional bout. Across the ring stood Pedro Vigas, a mountain of toughness. But Coyazo brought the hurricane. Pressure, body shots, unrelenting rhythm. By the third round, a perfectly placed left to the body folded Vigas in half. 2 knockdowns later, the fight was stopped. The message was clear, a new force had arrived. Not every rising star gets tested early. Victor Saluter, a seasoned veteran, former WBA and WBO titleist, came to see if the young hurricane could stand the storm. 9 years in the ring. More than 20 wins. He was the exam. They said the smallest weights carry the least danger. They were wrong. From a humble gym in Valba to the bright lights of world title nights, this is the story of a fighter who turned pressure into power. Oscar Coyazo, El Pupilo, the hurricane that made the 105-pound division tremble. Born in New York, raised on the island of Puerto Rico, Oscar Coyazo carved himself out of something most fighters never see: relentless will. 7 years in the amateurs, more than 150 fights, tournaments, Pan American Games, World Championship appearances. He wasn't built for points alone. From the earliest rounds, he showed an engine designed to press, to hunt, to finish. Oscar turned pro in February 2020. His first fights ended quickly: raw power, a ruthless body attack. But power alone doesn't make a champion. It was the way he carried it, small in scale yet massive in intent.